Good afternoon and welcome to the City Club. My name is Susan Alcorn and I'm the coordinator for today's program. I want to express my appreciation for all of you being here today and tell you why I'm here. I'm a fairly new member of the City Club, and since members are welcome to join committees, I joined the Special Programs Committee. And with some help from others, I organized today's program. Our program today is an outgrowth of the one we had in late March with Dr. Michael Jacobson, Executive Director of Center for Science in the Public Interest. He spoke on the growing effects of obesity and other health problems and the role that diet can play in ameliorating those problems. Today's program will attempt to get us started on the important conversations we need to have about local food, our resources and assets, as well as the challenges we have in marketing and selling locally produced food to supermarkets, farmers markets, and restaurants. We would like to express our appreciation today to Kaiser Permanente, our sponsor for today's program, Heal Cleveland. Kaiser's program, which stands for Healthy Eating, Active Living, is part of their national community health initiative to impact obesity and preventable disease. I would now like to introduce our moderator for today's program, Dan Moulthrop, the host of Sound of Ideas on our local radio station, WCPN. Dan.
Thank you very much, Susan. Thanks also to the City Club for hosting this and inviting me to be here today, and thanks especially to Chef Tony Martorello. This is the best meal I've had at the City Club, and I've eaten a lot of them. I'm just saying, it's the best one. So today we're talking about local food, which is a pretty broad concept when you think about it, because it could conceivably encompass everything from Doug's Pickles to the Smucker's Jam on the shelves at Heinen's. And everything, of course, is sold at the farmer's market. But so part of what we're doing here is defining what we're talking about and also defining why it matters. And also, specifically, how these concepts and these ideas are at play in these three aspects of the local food retail industry. Heinen Supermarkets, Jeff Heinen, Mary Holmes of the North Union Farmers Market, and Doug Katz of Fire. I'm going to let them talk a little bit right now about how they see these issues, how they became important to them, and what role they see themselves playing. And then we'll have a little bit of a give and take, and then, of course, halfway through the hour, halfway through the program, we'll open it up to your questions as well. So, Doug, why don't you start?
Okay. So in my training, I lived in different parts of the country, and I learned that using local food wherever I was important to the people that I worked for. And so when I opened Fire at Shaker Square, we had a farmer's market there, and I thought how important it was to open in a town center sort of feel. And so I went to the farmer's market one day, and I met a farmer who sold wood, and his name was Ray. And so we started buying our wood from Ray, and because we use wood to cook our food. And he would deliver on a regular basis every 3 weeks. And after about 6 months, he missed a day and had never missed a day. And his whole family would come to the restaurant and bring the wood down the steps and place it for us. And he missed a day. I called him, and he didn't answer. And the next day he came, and his wife was not with him. And I said, what happened? You didn't come yesterday. And he said that his wife had been hit in a head-on collision, and that he was sorry he couldn't be there, but that he was here today with the wood. And I heard that story, and I just was in awe that this person cared so much to bring me product to my restaurant, and then I realized how important it was to connect with your food. And when I was able to connect with my food, it meant so much to me, and I felt that if I could communicate that to the customers, that it would be even more important. So it was really, not that it's guilt, but I think it's so important to use local and to connect with people and to know that you're nurturing your body with your food. And so after I had that experience, I felt like I had to do that. So,
Mary?
Well, I moved to Cleveland in 1990, and I had been accustomed to frequenting a farmer's market where I'd lived before. And when I moved here, I was looking for local product, and ultimately ended up working with a number of people who decided to start a farmer's market. because in those days it was really simply a matter of my personal need. I wanted strawberries to make strawberry jam. And you don't make strawberry jam from strawberries in the store. I'm sorry, but anyway. Sorry, Jeff. So out of that initial involvement in reaching out to farmers and trying to see if there were other people interested in connecting with local foods, I started studying and questioning and wondering why was it so hard to find farmers to come to the farmers market. This seemed, this is an agricultural state. Where are all those farmers? And over the course of many years now, 15 years or so, I have studied what has happened to agriculture in Ohio and the country in terms of its regionalization, its industrialization, the fact that most of us don't eat food from Ohio because most of the food grown in Ohio is corn and soybeans, and it's grown for livestock. And we live over in the eastern part, so we don't really know that, but if you were looking over in the western part of the state, you'd see many, many, many large confined animal feeding operations. And as you know, Ohio is the second largest egg producer in the country. These are very, very large confined animal feeding operations. So finding local food involves more than just finding food that happens to be here in Ohio. It's looking for food that is produced in a very different way than the industrial method. And it provides an access to farmers who really want to grow sustainably. They want to grow nutritious and delicious food. We want food that is seasonal. This is a concept that is pretty well lost to the younger generation, but food that is ripe and fresh. So the idea of local is a lot more than just an idea of distance and where it comes from.
Jeff Heinen.
Heinen's has always been interested in local food from a very selfish interest. Being a local company, supporting local companies always made sense to us, as well as starting as a relatively small company. Understanding the sources of our food was important to us as well, and that was easier for us done locally than it was done elsewhere. As we grew larger, we had one big advantage over many people like us, which was that as a company of our size, we still do our own distribution, and so we're able to purchase direct from people both locally as well as elsewhere in the country. And that also allows us to deal with the issue that Mary alludes to, which is local. You can't supply local product in Ohio 12 months of the year. It just doesn't exist. And you can't provide local product to the quantities that's consumed in any city. And so for Heinen's, local actually goes beyond, I think, what Mary alluded to. It's really, at least for Heinen's, it's about sourcing our product, whether it's local in Cleveland, Ohio, or local in the state of Washington.
Jeff, when you talk about your product, I mean, there are so many products for sale. And there's bread that I can buy at Heinen's. And full disclosure, I shop at Heinen's, I shop at the farmer's market, I eat at Fire. Okay, that's done. So I mean, there's bread I can buy that's from the Youngstown area. There's jam, right, from Smucker's. There's apples from Geauga County. I mean, what is the biggest success that your family has found in a local product, something you can source locally and sell locally that your customer base just devours?